I mean, at this point, actually, was it that dude? Yeah, so that same dude I sent the TikTok from. So just so the viewers know, I sent the TikTok of this TikToker, of course, and he was wearing a Yeezy Gap, but he gave it a nice review, but he said a quality control issue where he felt like both of the smalls. Well, he ordered a small and medium, and they both fit the exact same. They both fit like a small.
And he went further than that. He measured them.
He measured everything down to they were the exact same thing. So that lets you know that one was mislabeled, which happens regardless of how big or small you are. That happens. But I'm starting to believe it's like a thing with this drop in general. Using what Mars said, that same TikToker, I just went through his shit, see what he was doing, whatever. He bought a pair of fake foam runners to see if it was the same shoe, the comfortability. People will call him out on it. He got actually hella compliments, and it fit and felt the same exact way. And so, you know, I brought up to the guys in the group message because I've seen this be a trend. I've seen it for a while now. I talked to about it with Sonny as well. When I first seen it, this dude had, I think, redid a pair of Flu Games, maybe a pair of threes. I can't remember what shoes exactly, but he did a pair of Jordans. And he essentially ordered the fake soles because, of course, no one wants to buy a brand new pair of Jordans to take apart and then put it on the. No one wants to do that,
especially if it's resale prices and all that. Yeah,
so to be clear, this person has a pair of OG shoes, vintage, whatever you want to call it, anywhere from 2000, 1999, around that era, that can't stay, together anymore. Yeah. So they would essentially buy something similar to it, take apart that shoe and put it onto the older shoe so the older shoe can have more life. But the new thing now is to order a pair of fake shoes because the fakes are so fucking good. Take apart the fake, which is of course cheaper than buying a real shoe, and put it onto the OG. And to me, I'm surprised no one has made this a discussion because I'm like, you're borderline, not even really borderline. You're saying fakes are acceptable. You can't sit here and tell me it's not. And I have no problem. I've never had a problem with anybody wearing fakes. But I've always been an advocate of buy what you like. Yeah. Buy what you can afford. Make best of what you have. It doesn't matter. You feel me?
And I think fakes are becoming more acceptable.
And it's weird to me because, like, not to be funny, this is a Nike issue. If Nike dropped more quality items, would we be raving over the OGs? Of course. We would rave over them because we weren't around when they came out. They will always have sentimental value. Yeah. But I think we would care about the shoes that's being dropped as well. No one cares for new shoes if you're a sneakerhead, quotation marks. That's a different discussion. But as much, you buy what you like, you keep it on your feet every now and then, but everybody still wants 2001 bread, 2002. We want the...
When you say nobody cares for new shoes, you mean like basically exclusively like Jordans.
That's what I'm saying, like the sneakerhead culture is like, we buy them, we resell them, of course, we all make our bread, we do what we have to do. But it's not like, man, these ones quality is amazing. Everybody's saying, what the fuck with this? People are saying, what the fuck about the quality for 3 years now. If I'm not mistaken. I think Wish had that little whole committee meeting about Jordan 1s, especially like 3-4 years ago. I could be wrong. But anywho, and even when, I think one of you guys may have sent it in a group message, I'm not sure, but I remember reading how Jordans are now going to be starting at 200, right? Correct?
They are?
Yeah. What was it?
Like Jordan 1s are? Oh, hell.
Yeah, they're starting at 200. So everybody in the comments was like, this better mean better quality. This better mean better quality. Not that trash quality. So it's like, you feel me? That's why we're raving over the vintage. Not only because we missed out on, like, of course, the vintage aspect and the retro and all that, but we love the quality. We feel like we're not able to get this quality. And we're literally watching Nike, Jordan, whatever brand you want to say, replicate it in a cheaper way. Let's just throw some yellow soles on it. They'll love it. Yeah. Like, let's just make it vintage looking. They'll love it. We want the quality. We notice the difference. Everyone is a creative in their own right. You feel me? So we're not dumb. Yeah. Like, especially if you're buying, you're an advocate, you love shoes. You're not just gonna be like, oh, those look great. Like, you know what I mean?
But a lot of people did buy those shoes with those yellow soles because they had yellow soles.
No, don't get me wrong. That's gonna forever be a thing because people want vintage right now. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, referring back to the topic where we started at with the fake sneaker culture shit, is like, I think that's a problem with Nike. I don't blame nobody for doing that. I don't blame the man for ripping apart the shoe. I have to go buy a whole new pair of shoes if I can find them, first of all, and then have to take apart that shoe and put it on a new shoe because I like the quality, I like the vintage, I like all this shit. And even if you were to redo these shoes today, you're not going to give me the same quality when you're making it cheaper. You feel me? So it's like, what's going on here? So I understand it. Once again, I want to continue to say this. I have no problem with nobody buying what they like. I think it's fucking creative. You're saving money. You're wearing the shoe. Like, I might fuck around and do it with my Aqua 8s because I love my Aqua 8s. Yeah. Like, you feel me?
Do you think that makes that shoe fake now, though?
That's my point. I don't know. It's really weird because in some degree, are we accepting it? Because to me, can we not do the same thing with clothes? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, my shirt got bleach on this collar or sleeve or something. Well, let me buy the replicate of it and just sew the sleeve back. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not up to really say my answer because I've always been I don't really care what you wear once you like it type of person.
I don't think I don't think it makes it fake because like
that's not fair.
Why?
Because then bootlegs should never not be accepted. There's no way you can say bootlegs should never not be accepted. It should always be accepted. If you can buy a real pair of shoes. You're talking
about Fugazis is like a bootleg, right?
Yes, in general.
Okay, yeah.
If you can put fake things, components, because let's be clear to the audience here, fake is mean unauthorized. It did not come from a Nike factory or Jordan factory, right? Yeah. So if I can do that and put it on a real pair of shoes and that's fine, then the bootleg should be accepted.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I think bootlegs should be accepted. Cool. I've always felt like
all right, cool.
Bootlegs is just like, and it's hard because bootlegs is kind of like a derogatory term or whatever. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like they're still making an original design of. It's more like a homage type of thing as opposed to like a actual fake where they're really just making a way cheaper version of something that's already like out. Like the colorway, the everything is already out. Like so that's where I think the line is for me. Why I don't think that bootleg stuff is fake as opposed to fakes being fakes or like B grades being fakes. You know, because they're just replicas. They're exact replicas. Like
because at this point, bro, you can buy even a fake iPhone and look exactly like it might have a few more problems, but it looks exactly like
shit like that. I've never understood that. Like I've never had like a fake iPhone or seen one or seen anyone with one that I know of. But it's just like how does it work, bro? Like how do you and then also how do you make a fake iPhone, right? That's like where you're saving money on making that iPhone. And have it still be have it be comparable to a real iPhone.
Bro, you know how cheap it is to make an iPhone? You know how cheap it is to make any phone? That's all they're doing. Bro, all these people, I'm in these group messages, bro. I'm not going to fucking snitch on shit I see or read, but like a lot of these people that make fakes, and I want to use quotation marks because what really is fake at this point? They're the same people in these factories making these Nike shoes. They're just leaving and going to their real job where they're getting paid somewhat more money for making fakes. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. If you work in a Nike factory, you're seeing the procedure, you know how all this shit goes, and you know this is just a made up story. I'm not saying this actually happens. Let's say Levi, your friend or whatever, has his own factory making this type of sneaker, whatever. He still has everything needed to make a pair of threes. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know how to make it maybe, but you do because you work at Nike. You're gonna walk the little ass over there and say, I think we can do this. Fake. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It's just not an authorized factory from Nike, but it's the same quality. And those, if I'm not mistaken, Chinese, Asian factories all be lined up on the same block. Mm-hmm. You feel me? For the most part, I've never been, so don't like quote me on this. Like, I'm just making up a fake scenario here. I swear to God. Like, but that's what I would assume would happen. The same thing with iPhones, bro. That's why, if I'm not mistaken, this can be fact checked. People don't like when you really dig into iPhones and how they make. People don't like that because you really see a lot of people either killing themselves or can't talk about shit. iPhone is different. I'm not sure if Nike versus the Apple security, maybe Nike really don't give a fuck. I'm not too sure. But when you work and manufacture for Apple, you can't say shit. You can't work nowhere else. Niggas be in there 12 days a week, nigga, like type shit. 12 days, because that's how long it's for them. Okay, like I've read. I don't know if y'all remember that shit that people was really going hard on him of that Asian man killing himself. Like he jumped out their fucking factory and like died or some shit. And I think it's because they said he stole a phone. Nigga killed himself before they could catch him. I'm almost sure that's how that story went. Don't quote me. But I'm almost sure that's how it went. So, like, clearly Apple don't play that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Versus Nike, to some degree, I think they allow it. Mm-hmm. To some degree, you know? And people's been saying that, like, Nike's low-key funding the fake industry. I
was just about to get to that. Like,
and low-key...
they're behind it.
Yeah, like low-key low-key funding the fake industry and low-key kind of... That builds the hype on real shoes. Kind of like what we were just talking about with the Yeezy Gap. It's best not to say things because people are going to argue with it. Like you said, to some degree, you may say it's part of the marketing because it's, hey, I'm thinking it's fine. Levi might say, this shit is trash. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's still causing the hype. It's still being discussed. It's doing its job on this podcast, you know? So it's a different form of Nike because in our eyes, I watched this interview about like post-interns of Nike. And the first thing Nike tells people is we're not a sneaker company. We're not a clothing company. We're a marketing company. Keep that in mind. If they're saying that, they know what they're doing. Yeah. Like, of course they can move shoes. We're not, but they're saying like we haven't gotten this far off of shoes. We've gotten this far off of marketing. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it just depends how you look at shit. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah. And I think we talked about this before, but I don't necessarily feel like the fake industry being like a huge thing is necessarily bad per se, because there's a lot of people out there who really just can't afford to get the shit that they want to get.
You have to understand, and that's what I have to remind myself, we're coming from a humble mindset. We're coming from possibly even being faked with our own shit. And we come from a mindset where we are creatives, one, in our own right. So we understand what the procedure is to make shit. We understand how hard it is to sell. We understand how people will like what they like regardless of the logo. And we're getting to that point. That's what I would like to discuss on here one day, like a real discussion. I think, and I showed Levi this, we're getting to a point where it's not gonna matter about even logos anymore. Granted, Kanye West, and granted the tech industry. I told Levi this one day, whenever we have the time, I can like kind of show it. You can bring it up on the screen or whatever. I feel like fashion is moving towards that, less logos. And to me, what less logos means what? More fakes. Because we're paying for quality now.
Yeah.
And to me, will that affect the fashion industry in the sense of fast fashion? Will fast fashion be able to keep up with that? I feel like where we're going is really a good space. Because in my head, this is how I'm looking at it. There may be some drawbacks to this, okay? It's not perfect. I didn't write it down. This is just coming straight off the dome. So it's like, I think there might be some more drawbacks to it. I'm not sure what they may be. But I think it's just going to be a lot harder to continue to replicate certain things due to quality. Because we're going to care for quality over the name. We're going to care for quality over the logo. So that may weed out some fakes. But there's always going to be things like foam runners, the net runners, the Balenciaga runners, where it's kind of basically just a sock.
Yeah.
So it's going to be easier to replicate. And then with that being said, a lot of those sock type shoes, those futurist type shoes, have no logo. And the inside will have a B or a Balenciaga or a Kanye, you feel me? But on the outside, it's just a shoe. So to me, I like where we're going. And then when it comes to clothes as well, I was telling Levi that a lot of logos now that I'm noticing, a lot of upcoming brands, a lot of people are showing their collection, the logo is like abstract as shit. Yeah. Like it's like a shape or something, if that. You know, it's like a random shape, and then like it looks good. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying I love it, by the way. But like it's just to me implementing like, hey, this is what I like. This is what I feel. This is my logo. Yeah. But it doesn't really matter because you're only gonna really see this on the inside of the item. You know, so I think fakes overall will have an impact in helping that. Yeah. But will they have a drawback on, I guess, Nike type companies and all that other stuff? I'm not sure.
See, I don't think it will, just because, like, especially because of how, and I can't really speak too much to the clothes, but, like, when I think about the shoes, I feel like it's so hard to tell, like, what's, basically, anything can be real if you get it from someone who you trust. Yeah. It's real. Exactly. You know? Just, that's what I was kind of saying, like, if Yeezy was selling the fake foam runners, nobody's questioning it. These are fake foam runners. And if you go in, most of the time, the only difference between like the fakes and the real shoes that you could really, really tell is packaging. Like, because it doesn't have the right stamps or this, that, and the third that, you know, Nike would have for it. And when I think about it, it's like, if we're going to, for example, when we went to SneakerCon, like, at some point, it just doesn't make sense to me. Where we go to all these sneaker shows, they have these shits all over the country, and everybody has, what was that shoe that we saw a lot of there? Lightnings. We probably saw about like 10,000 goddamn lightnings just in there alone. That's one city, right? And just think, like, the numbers, basically the math doesn't work for how many lightnings dropped and how many lightnings that one person has, like, or one group of people has. Like, somebody got to be having some fakes in there, you know. And I don't think it matters as much because, like, people already they have that trust with them. Like, we sell real stuff. Like, we're official, we're verified. Like, so nobody's even about to go and check. Nobody's even about to go and question. And if it's fake, quote unquote, it's just like, is it really fake? Niggas will put fakes right next to the real shoe and just be like, tell me the difference. And nobody can.
I don't care what no one says. I know for a fact in this room I can't tell. If you brought in, and I'm not saying some cheap, regular, dingy, $20, $10 foam runners. Yeah. If you bought in some $60, $80 foam runners, this is as much as the real ones cost, and put them side by side, I think we might be able to tell off of the smell, the production. Yeah. Because it won't.
You would really have to examine
that. But in the sense of on feet, two people walking down the street, because I'm not going to stop anybody regardless. I'm not going to be like, fake. I never been that nigga, regardless. But there's niggas that are like, take off your shoe. Let me see with a blue light. Get the fuck off of my face, bro. Like, what are you talking about? It's on my feet. You feel me? Respectfully, like, it doesn't matter. But like I said from the beginning of this topic, like, we're coming from a humble, I'm going to use the word humble, aspect. There's niggas that pay for what they want. this is real. This came from the Dior factory. This came from Kim himself. This came from Matthew Williams himself. You know, once that is still a thing, reals and fake will always have to be a discussion.
Yeah, yeah.